On a fairly frequent basis, I get asked about masks, mask collecting, mask making, etc. by people who are interested in one or all of the above. For instance, where are the best mask collecting communities? Where can I get pointers from established artists about how to paint, mold, or cast masks? How do I go about buying masks from fellow collectors without getting ripped off? Or, I've been ripped off. Now what? So I've decided to make this video, which will hopefully answer all of those questions, but more importantly, prevent somebody from getting ripped off in the future. I'm going to answer the community questions first and very briefly here. Facebook. Facebook has a plethora of communities out there for mask collectors. I'm a member of several of those groups and have purchased quite a number of items from fellow collectors over the years, not just masks. And this video will not just apply to buying masks, but collectible figures, physical media, musical instruments, etc. A lot of what goes on in those communities, aside from artists accusing other artists of stealing their work, consists of people buying and selling stuff. There are plenty of legit people out there, and there are plenty of people out there looking to make a quick buck by ripping you off. Now, I know someone is thinking, why not just buy and sell masks on eBay? Well, for sellers, eBay has become less and less friendly with their ever-increasing fees. If you're a buyer, it's rare, at least in my opinion, to find really high-quality masks on eBay. Now, that's not to say it never happens. I've bought both WMP and Brad Harden masks off of eBay in the past. It's just that those listings, in my opinion, are few and far between. What eBay does have going for it that the Facebook groups don't is buyer protection, meaning that if you get ripped off by a seller, eBay will step in and mediate, and, at least from my experience, will almost always side with the buyer. Now, when it comes to the Facebook groups, almost every post from every member that I've ever read who claimed to have been ripped off by another member of said group always includes the same admission, and it has to do with the method of payment. Friends and family. Never, 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 ever, ever, never, ever use friends and family to purchase anything from anyone unless you've done business with them in the past or you trust them implicitly. Using PayPal friends and family to purchase an item from someone is basically asking them, daring them, in fact, to rip you off. You see, PayPal sees their friends and family option as you're sending money to a close friend or a family member for an emergency expense or as a gift. You're not expecting anything in return. In other words, it's not a business transaction. There's no buyer protection, so if you get ripped off, you're out of luck. If you make a purchase via PayPal the traditional way as goods and services, you as the buyer are subject to PayPal's buyer protection policy, and the seller is subject to a small fee. Now, it's understandable that a seller would want to avoid this fee biting into their profit, so I usually offer to include an extra few bucks to cover the fee. For instance, not long ago, I contacted a seller from a Facebook group about a mask they had for sale. I made him a reasonable offer, he accepted, and then he requested that I send the payment friends and family, to which I told him that I wasn't comfortable doing so, but I would cover the goods and services fee. He still refused. In my book, that's a scam. Something else I always look out for is if a seller can't use PayPal because they've had issues with their account. They either claim that they don't have an account, or they've been frozen out of their account, or that there's some problem with their account that they don't have access to it anymore. I mean, A, who under the age of 70 doesn't have a PayPal account? And B, I'm guessing the reason why their account had issues is because they had ripped somebody off in the past, the victim filed a claim with PayPal, and PayPal either 86'd their account or froze them out of it. Never use Cash App to pay, because they have no buyer protection policies in place, at least at the time of this recording. Venmo does. However, I've not used Venmo very much, aside from making smaller transactions. Another way of sniffing out a scammer is by taking a close look at the photos of the items they have for sale. A lot of scammers just take photos from existing or old eBay listings of the same item. I can smell an eBay lifted photo a mile away. And the old adage of if a deal is too good to be true, then it probably is applies here too. I've backed out of a number of potential sales because of that reason. For instance, a couple of years ago, a guy had some Mezco Cinema of Fear figures for sale. He had the Tall Man, Patrick Bateman, and several others. I reached out to him asking how much the Patrick Bateman and the Tall Man figures were, to which they responded, $80. I figured $80 each? No, $80 for both. Even at $80 each, that's a heck of a deal, because both of those figures go from either $120 to $150 each from reputable sellers. Granted, maybe he was just desperate for some quick cash, but I smelled a rat. So there you go. I hope there was some insightful, useful information that you could glean from my ramblings. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for me to cover on future mask collecting videos, please let me know down in the comments section below. Also, if you're a member of one or more of these Facebook groups, let me know what your experiences have been. And just in case you're wondering, yes, I have been ripped off in the past. The guy who ripped me off painted one of my favorite Halloween 2 Myers masks in my collection. I asked him to do a similar paint job on a Blood Tears version, so I bought a TOTS H2, sent it to him, and paid him an additional $70 for the conversion. I paid using PayPal goods and services though. However, he kept giving me one excuse after another as to why there was such a delay in him getting my mask done. Now, I could have filed a complaint with PayPal and most likely got my money back once it became clear that I was never going to see that mask. But I figured, if this guy's that pathetic and that hard up for $70, he clearly needs it a lot more than I do. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.